welcome to Plain Talk, a forum for people interested in all aspects of making our woodworking industry more successful. Today, I'm with two renowned thought leaders in the field, with Joseph Baggett, the President of Innovative Wood Product Solutions, and Don Shultz, President of Moran. He is a business analyst and advisor to the industry. Welcome to our sessions. May I start with Don? Don, could you let us know a little more about your background and what brought you to the woodworking industry?
Sure. First of all, thanks for including me in this, and I look forward to working with you and Joseph closely in the weeks and months ahead. I think it's an important time for our industry to begin a new conversation about moving forward. So, yeah, my background is I worked for an oil company many years ago, and one day woke up in a hotel in Europe and decided that wasn't my life's purpose. And I came back to the United States, quit my job with the oil company, and served an apprenticeship in woodworking. And had my own business after I completed my apprenticeship in cabinet making. I opened my own custom millwork and cabinet company and sold that 5 years later when I realized I really didn't know how to run a business. And I think ever since then, I've been on this journey to understand business in the industry because it's a very unique industry, and it's made up primarily of very homegrown, homespun companies, smaller, kind of parochial, and I've been lucky that I've run a couple of large companies over the years, and over the last 18 years, I have had the opportunity to work with a number of different companies, casework companies, furniture companies, millwork companies, and really had a chance to study their businesses, where they get in trouble, how they get out of trouble, and how, where are the common stumbling blocks. And I've over the years done a lot of research on the industry, and I think there's some interesting things that have been going on and some interesting benchmarks, and we'll talk about those over the next few sessions. But I think it's a pretty interesting time for the industry. We're, I think, at the cusp of having to rethink how we run our companies, and I think that's what we're looking forward to in these conversations.
Very cool. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Don. Taking the point of research, Joseph, you can not only talk the talk, you did also the walk. You have been a practitioner for many years, and you have a growing number of clients that are confronting you with a lot of the issues that need to be solved. Joseph, you want to talk a little bit about your background and your company?
Sure. I just wanted to say thank you, Michael. I'm really excited to collaborate with you in 2020, and Don and Jason Borelli, Kent Barbie, Jorg Bronze, all the folks that are putting this together. My background it has always been in the wood industry. Since graduating from school and starting in a furniture factory, it's been my entire career. And let me just say, I love the wood industry. I love it just as much as I did when I started. And like Don said, we are at the cusp. There's one of our taglines says the future isn't what it used to be. And so the rate of change within our industry, both internally and externally, are really driving us to ask more and better questions in the context of what strategically matters the most, right? So Willie Peterson has made it clear, really, for anybody who's willing to do their homework, the internet offers them all the information really that there is about our industry on a plate. And he said that the future no longer belongs to the people with the special knowledge, but to those who can take what is available to them and make the most sense out of it and make it fit together. And his main part of this that's really applicable to what's going on in our industry is those that strategically learn and apply the fastest are those that win the future. And so I'm really excited to discuss where our industry is going, what matters the most and where it's going, and how do we ask the best questions.
Very good. Thank you, Joseph. Talking about questions, we use the session today as a primer for our upcoming process automation seminar on August 22nd in Atlanta. And I thought, maybe why don't we ask the right questions? Why shouldn't we ask what are processes, right? We have the title process automation, but shouldn't we define first what processes are before we dive deeper into that topic?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, because I think it puts us all on the same foundation.
So Don, maybe you want to start. What's a process from your perspective?
So from my point of view, a process is really quite simply a series of separate but interdependent work activities that are initiated to achieve a very specific result. And those processes, while they are separate and interdependent, they're connected in a series. And I think what I see in business is a lot of times in our industry companies is that we think about process more intensely on the factory floor, and tend to forget that our business is in its entirety a process. And rather than kind of looking at those separate but interdependent work activities as a whole, we continue to look at them in silos. So I think it's, again, it's just a work activity, a step in a series of activities that have to be completed.
Joseph, on your side, processes, you're out there in the field quite a lot. How do you see that processes are captured, defined on your client side?
So that's a great question, Michael. And I want to say what Don described was a microcosm. And I just want to level set, right? Is obviously my background is an industrial engineer and an electrical engineer, setting up woodworking plants, et cetera. What we didn't know for the past probably 30 years, 20 years, it's becoming more apparent, is that regardless in the factory of what our machines look like, our layout, software, et cetera, is information was always the bottleneck. And whether it was subconsciously or consciously, we always developed processes assuming that information was the bottleneck. So we made machine layouts, we made scheduling changes, we bought materials, all these things off the limited information that was available, right? Mm-hmm. So in today's scenario, like Don said, a process is that series of events that creates the most value within a wood manufacturing or wood fabrication entity. The difference now is that process is much more holistic. It's not just a procedure. It's not just, the IE, the sequence steps, all those things. It really begins at a point where beginning to end, cradle to grave, right? What is the most important information that will drive the value within that process? If you ask that question, then your information bottleneck will be the least possible. That said is that you have manufacturers now that have e-commerce, which people can go and select products, customize products, engineer products, all from their home. And that translates into manufacturing data and then all the way into end user data, right? So now you can order, you can manipulate, change, et cetera, wood products, just like you could a hamburger 15 years ago. forgive me for the oversimplification, but that's really the art of, or the practice of process automation is taking people, materials, information, machines, designs and engineering and marketing, and then creating the most amount of value from cradle to grave.
How can people sign up for the symposium, Joseph?
You can go to the IWF website, click on the educational tab. There's a drop-down menu. You'll see our seminar right there, process automation. You click on the tab right there. You can put your personal information in there, make a payment, sign up. It's the day before the show, so there'll be very little disturbing and unfocused activity since it's the day before. And we hope to see everybody come.